Welcome to FoundHER Voice podcast, the space for bold, empowering, raw, and unfiltered conversations about business, relationships, and everything that makes us fierce. No filters, no fluff, just real talk. We're back with season 3 and we're going even deeper. Get ready to own your voice, break barriers, and step into your power unapologetically. Let's get into it.
Hey everybody, we're back with FoundHER Voice podcast. I am your host Valerie, and today I'm sitting down with Dr. Brandy. She's an educator and an artist. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
Good. I'm so glad that we met. She has the story that I always want women to share, this type of story, because she is going to tell you that it doesn't matter where you come from, you can thrive in life. And with that degree, you can see, right?
Absolutely.
So tell me who you are, what you do.
Oh, what a fun story. As she said, my name is Dr. Brandy Shumake. I am a special educator. I'm a speech pathologist by trade, and my degree is in educational development and resource organization, essentially. That's an educational doctorate. That's a lot of words for saying that I use my brain to help other people help other people. My story is a very interesting one because I never grew up expecting to be a doctor or wanting to be a doctor so much as I grew up wanting to learn lots of things. You know,
Yes.
And turns out I'm not done yet. You know, when you're done learning, you're done living, I think.
Yes.
But my story, I think from another perspective, wouldn't position me to achieve the success that I have. And we haven't talked about that yet. So I'm looking forward to
We
it.
have not. I can't wait to hear.
So where can I start? What do you fancy hearing?
I want you to start when you was little.
Okay. Well, that's always fun. Okay. I am the youngest girl of 3 children. Well, 4 children now. We found out in recent years that we had a surprise sibling.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also a story. My eldest brother was 19 years my senior to the day. And my other brother is 6 years older than I am.
Okay.
So by the time I came along, my parents were pretty done parenting. They'd done all of their hard work and efforts with my brothers, and my brothers were charged with handling me and making sure that we had everything we needed.
Yes.
Little known fact, because I don't talk about it very often, but both of my parents were addicts or suffered from substance abuse disorders, and handled it in very different ways. My mother was a teacher for nearly 20 years. She worked with preschoolers and dedicated every ounce of her energy to raising little babies and little kids. But she had demons, had other habits that somehow controlled other aspects of her life. And then my father was less productive and less kind than my mother, so we had a mixed bag when it came to parents. My father was a clinical narcissist. My mother was very much codependent, and there were just lots of things going on in their worlds when I came about. I was born in Atlanta, Georgia, in Northside Hospital, and when I came about, my parents, there was an open DCBS case, or child protection case, when I was about 2, which prompted our move to Kentucky. And I found that out after my mother's passing.
Wow.
So it has just been story after story.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really where it starts.
Okay.
My brother Albert and I moved to Louisville when he was 6. When he was 8 and I was 2. And school became like my happy place. I studied hard. I enjoyed reading. I was hyperlexic, so I was reading my mother's child development books at 3. So, you know, my special interests became like the things that really incentivized me. And I didn't know that then, but,
yeah.
You know, I kind of worked to create a life in a world where I only did things that I enjoyed, especially as I got older.
Yeah.
So I told you I'm local. I went to a Montessori school for elementary, and then a traditional school for middle. And we can talk about the culture shock of that, you know, self-guided learning to the stringent learning of a traditional program. It makes me think of Mean Girls, when Katie gets back and she doesn't raise her hand to go to the bathroom and then she gets berated by the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
That was what going from Montessori to traditional program was like. It was a wild take. Yeah. I went through middle school and elementary participating in a group called the River City Drum Corps, where they taught kids how to play drums and leverage Pan-African principles to improve their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that through high school. But when I went to high school, I joined the Ballard Choir. So I've been a singer, musician my whole life. Ballard and the drum corps positioned me to like write essays, to get scholarship money, to have experiences that people in my neighborhood might never have.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up in the West End or in other less accessible places in the city. And then I went to UK on a full ride scholarship after graduating from Ballard. So it's been a fun journey. So school really was what got me through, and that and art and the service of giving to my community. Um, I went to UK. I graduated. I pledged Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, in 2008, the fall of 2008, um, and became a speech pathologist a couple of years later. So um, after that, I thought, what am I going to do? I needed more experience, so I went back to school and pursued my master's at Eastern Kentucky University,
Mm-hmm.
And then started working in Winchester in 2012. So imagine my cute little black self settling in Winchester, Kentucky, in a preschool, in rural Kentucky. I learned so many lessons. I made so many friends. I affected a lot of change just by getting to know people, and I was changed very much just by getting to know people,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is even more powerful.
Yes.
I worked in Manchester for a spell, 7, 8 years, then moved to, to Fayette County, Lexington,
Mm-hmm.
and worked as a speech pathologist for several years, and did the job that I do now concurrently. So I managed compliance for IDEA. And then after being in Fayette County, I thought, I wouldn't mind to be a little closer to home, and I wouldn't mind to make maybe a little more money. And you know what? Maybe it's time to go back to school. And so I did all of those things at the same time. I started a doctoral program. I bought a home in the Russell neighborhood. I, I just took it all by storm and said, I'm going to make it all happen. And so my support system was really strong, and I'm pretty focused, and I work hard to get it done. But a couple of months ago, what was that? In August, I received my educational doctorate. So I am, I'm just a product of public education and community, and I really am just evidence of what the arts and education can do for a kiddo.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in the West End of Louisville, where my family couldn't pay bills, where my parents had other priorities that weren't food related or weren't our comfort.
Mm-hmm.
And now I don't worry about any of those things because my special interest in learning paved the way for me.
Yeah, that's right.
So another thing I learned on my journey that I was seeking was my autism diagnosis when I turned 35. I told you that I've been on a very long medical and mental health journey.
Yes.
When I was married previously,
Mm-hmm.
I went to therapy, and I thought, my brain works differently than other people's. So let's figure out how and why.
Mm-hmm.
And my first therapist said, all right, let's get to work. Let's figure it out. He told me, he said, we're going to dig in it together. Let's figure you out. He was from London, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
I needed someone who had similar positionality and try and help me piece together all of the things that are going on in my brain.
Okay.
So I found him, and he was incredible. Throughout our journey, I found that I had CPTSD, or chronic post-traumatic stress syndrome. So having all of the tumultuousness of my childhood, seeing the disagreements between my parents, all of those traumatic experiences
Mm-hmm.
brought me to a place where I got a new diagnosis. an adjustment disorder, which is not dissimilar. And then that's pretty much where we settled, and then determined that I also had 10 out of 10 adverse childhood experiences. Yeah. So at that point, I'm like 25 or 26.
What do you do in that kind of moment?
I celebrate. I celebrate because I told you my parents were not very available or aware. They didn't have capacity.
Yes.
So I didn't know very much about me or my health or my background or my mental health. Those were not made a priority when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I had medical gaslighting. So I feel this in my body. No, you don't. That doesn't happen. That couldn't be. And so when I had confirmation about the experiences that I'd had, that the things that I was feeling in my body were just remembrance of the things that had happened in my past, that I could, I felt affirmed. And I thought, okay, this gives me something to work with. At least I can create a roadmap, sort of.
Yeah.
And then he told me, you need to do something for yourself. Get to know yourself in a different way. And I started taking dance classes. And as a drummer, dance kind of came natural to me. I took a summer of dance intensives in tap, ballet, contemporary. We did a bar fitness class, yoga. I mean, I had 5 or 7 classes that summer. And it was incredible. I felt so good about investing in me.
And I think that's very important.
You know, how often do you give you time? Not just as a mother, as a person, as a woman, not as a mom, not as a coworker, just as a human. Like in the morning, give yourself 15 minutes to enjoy your coffee or to recite your affirmations, or an hour to go to your therapist, whatever that looks like. So I started dancing, and my world just changed around me in the best of ways. I felt better about me. I felt better about the things I was doing in the world. I had a clearer mind. I was better able to synthesize the challenges of my relationship and the relationship I had with my mother, which is why I went to therapy. And eventually I started teaching dance after that, which was kind of wild. So I went from taking a summer intensive to teaching 5 to 6 classes a week at the same studio, you know, for years.
Yeah.
So you can literally do anything you dream of. I begged and pleaded with my parents to give me dance class lessons when I was a kid, and they couldn't afford it. It was outside of what they could do. I became an adult, and I took dance classes, and then I taught dance classes, and I choreographed pieces, and my girls competed, and my adult dancers still dance. One of my adult dancers is the general manager at a block store in Chicago. You know, so I have spent a lot of my time working to plant seeds of joy and creativity and community in these spaces, and it's nice to see them come to fruition.
I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. So I think that's the short story, you know.
It is.
I mean, even dance took me places. You know, after I finished my degree, my dissertation, I studied the personal and communal benefits of engagement with the River City Drum Corps. So the program that raised me, that got me to college, that is really instrumental in all of my success. I wanted to know why and how. I wanted to talk to other alumni and say, did this work for you like it worked for me? Like, tell me more. It did. It worked for them like it worked for me. A lot of people walked away with similar stories and similar lessons. It was incredible. It told us that the Drum Corps builds community and resilience in people in community, that they support mentorship and growth of children and families. And it's way deeper than that, but that's the abridged version. Yeah. And as I was coming to a close with my degree, the board approached me with a job. So they pursued me as the executive director, and I could do nothing but say yes.
Exactly.
You know? Yes. So my journey has really come full circle. I get to create opportunities for kids like me and just like me to engage with a drum corps that can grow them and grow their community and their family in ways that make our world more sustainable and more kind and more beautiful and more fun.
Yeah.
So if I can do it, then you can do it. If I can do it, then you can do it. So I am a proponent of leveraging all of your experience to make the world around you better, good, bad, or otherwise, because you're not alone in your journey or your story. I can't be the only person with 10 aces. I can't be the only person who has personal struggles. And I use those to my benefit. I struggled with communication, so I became a speech pathologist.
Yeah.
So I teach other kids how to use their words.
I love that.
And I grew until I was 35 knowing that I was a person with autism. So that therapeutic journey from Jason went to my current therapist, Portia. And I said, there's something else going on here. I need to know. I saw someone in between them, and they gave me a diagnosis of bipolar after 45 minutes with me. And I saw the second opinion, and he said, absolutely not. That does not sound like you. We've done this for years. I think what you see is what you get. I said, okay, but I'm going to keep digging. He said, all right, I trust your judgment. I called Portia. After several years with her, we sought out a neuropsychologist, and we found a diagnosis. And it was incredible. And I celebrated because my whole life, I felt like I was out of place. Like I was in a room by myself, or like I didn't speak the same language, like I had to predict all the things that were going to happen so that I could respond in the right way, And now knowing that there are all kinds of other brains that work just like mine lightens my load.
Yeah.
And the way my brain works influences how my body works. So now when I go to the doctor, and all the doctors have told me, no, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in your kind of body. Oh, you can't be in that kind of pain. Oh, no. All of those things now that I have an affirming diagnosis, I also now have a whole host of information about the things that were going on in my body for years. And people are finally taking me seriously after me beating down doors.
But it's crazy how you had to do it that way. Like, what is wrong with this health system?
That's a multi-layered question. You could answer that in many ways. My greatest disappointment in this system, from my positionality and my experience, has been that doctors do not take me seriously because I'm a Black woman.
Okay.
Historically, far back historically, and not so distant history, Black people are perceived as not feeling pain, not having issues. We've been experimented on because we have a higher tolerance or different kind of resilience.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true. My body feels like anybody else's body. And the level of fighting and advocating that I've had to do with my cardiologist, with my general practitioner before I found a woman of color to take care of me, with any of the doctors that I've seen, it's been, oh no, that can't happen. That doesn't happen in bodies. Oh no, your watch is too sensitive. Those Apple Watches, you can't have POTS. No, it's not a thing. So the more metrics that I take, the more documentation that I keep, the anecdotal diaries that I have of my symptoms, now that I have validation in one place, I have people take me more seriously in others. And I've also kind of found a formula for communicating my needs. I have been on this journey for a while. I'm not expecting you to fix this, but I'd like some help in problem solving. Here are these symptoms, problems, things. What do you think? Even though I already have an answer. And I wait. And if they don't hear me, then I keep looking. And it's not that I'm diagnosis seeking. I'm not pill seeking. I am very, very staunchly anti-drug because of my parents, their experience. But I'm also very pro-me and pro-my health. So I will go blue in the face telling my doctors what's going on with me just to figure it out. Yeah. So after leveraging like all of those little pieces, I finally found a referral to Vanderbilt about a year ago, and about 2 weeks ago, I finally got answers. So just keep going, just keep doing the thing. You know what you know.
That's right.
It's not just about intuition. Sometimes it's just about reality, about your experience, about standing in your you-ness and in being present in that, and not letting other people sway you from that. Because if I listened to the dozens of doctors who told me that my Apple Watch was just sensitive, or that I wasn't, because I wasn't hitting the floor when I got lightheaded, that I didn't have POTS. Like, I've only been dealing with this my whole life, I promise I can make sure I don't die at home, but these things are going on. If I listen to all of them, I would have no answers. I wouldn't know anything about me or my mental health or my body's capacity. So trust you and keep pushing and follow things that pursue you.
Yes.
Yeah. Answer what you want and let it come to you.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm a firm believer.
Yes.
So
I love that.
that's a whole lot of story.
It is. Wrapped
And
up.
that's like barely even the tip of the iceberg. We got more stuff, okay?
So I want to talk about, since you've dealt with kids on different levels, different ages, there are moms that watch this that have autism kids. Is there any advice that you can share with them? Because, some of them are doing we'll say 9 to 5. Some of them are entrepreneurs. And some of them are stay-at-home moms. And, for the most part, the stay-at-home moms, they don't get that break. So is there anything that they could be doing, or little tips and tricks to just like ease the load, I'll say, somewhat, I feel like?
My first immediate answer is give yourself some grace. No one knows what they're doing in parenting, so far as I understand. I don't know that. I'm not a parent. I don't have children. I have raised other people's children. I've been a teacher for 15 years, for ages, and I started teaching at 7. I was teaching drum classes, like the classes that I am now teaching other people to teach, at the age of 7. So kids are my jam. Kids are hard. People are hard. Your world does not revolve around that one little kiddo as much as you expect that it should. So give yourself some grace and remember that no one's perfect. We're all trying, and practice does not make perfect. It makes improvement. And hopefully maybe a little bit of peace. I'm going to sit in that for just a second.
Yeah.
Because I've seen moms, I've seen parents try their absolute best and then be so frustrated at what didn't happen, what their kid didn't do. And it's not about them. It's not about you. It's not about you. Knowing that it's not about you, the second thing that I would say is join them where they are. I, as a person with autism, I am so fortunate to have partners who love me and care for me and see me and join me where I'm at. If your kids had a hard day, give them some deep pressure. Make their favorite snack. Make sure they have crunchies. I live off of Kroger brand cake cones. Yes. Just the ice cream cone.
Oh, okay.
Not the sugar cone.
Yeah.
Just the little white ice cream. The crunch of it is my happy place. Wayne buys those in bulk. Join them where they are. The joy that I get after the hardest and longest day of sitting on my couch in front of my space heater and eating my cone, there's nothing better. Give them what they need. If they need Pop-Its, if they need Chewies, if they like a warm bath, if they like nothing, give them that. Stand with them. Go on, have a mini dance party. Tell stories. Make messy foods. Clean up the messes. Join them in their stuff. And 3, my therapist told me this one because I have struggled in the past. Love that. Have struggled with holidays and birthdays because my father has ruined every holiday and birthday that I've ever had. Just the nature of addiction. of alcohol and drug abuse and narcissism, just the assholehood of this guy, permeated my world.
Mm-hmm.
My therapist challenged me to enter into experiences like holidays and birthdays. And I now do this every day, just in spaces, because I work with kids, with the lens of a kid. Put on your kid lens and go in and enjoy the experience instead of curating it or controlling it or worrying about it. Join your kid where they're at. Can I go see?
Yes, you can.
Join your kids where they're at and fuck everybody else. Those other people don't feed you, they don't finance you, and they don't fuck you. And they don't take care of your baby. Okay? Thank you for bearing with me. Just, there's so much beauty in the world to be enjoyed together without leveraging what other people think and what other people see. And when people see you living your truth and trying your best and giving your baby the best you can, they feel inclined to offer you more, to show up for you, to see you, to let you know that you're doing it right. I'm gonna leave it at 3 because I could go on and on, but this is way harder.
Those are great. Those are great ones. And I love that you said, cater to that child and where they're at. I'm lucky enough to have 2 healthy babies. Now, I will say that these 2 babies came during COVID.
Oof, that's the time.
So this little girl, she is sassy, and this little boy, sometimes he's in his emotions, right? And they've never been diagnosed with ADHD or autism or anything like that, okay? But I always say to their dad, when you play with them, can you not just play with them at their age? Can you not think back when you was 5 years old, and what did you want to do at 5 years old? Did you want to get down on the floor and play with all the tractors, all the Hot Wheels, all the boy toys, right? Because if that's what you want to do, that's what he wants you to do with him. And you know me, because I'm a stay-at-home mama, because I homeschool, we do this every day. And you have those parents that come at you, one, because you homeschool, because that doesn't fit into society, right?
Insert eye roll here.
2 is, oh my God, your kids are so attached to you. Like, that's not good.
That's not bad.
And I'm like,
attachment, relationship.
I thought this was part of being a mom. Like, you nurture them. You're the one there. And I'm thinking to myself, every time I have this kind of conversation, I look back and I'm like, they don't like that because they've, 1, never done it, and 2, they are jealous.
You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm like, all you have to do is show up for that little kid and play with them on their level. And we do that. And, we have a blast. And we yell in our house. And we make messes. Like I told you when I walked in here. Like, I don't record at my house because these little kids take all the pillows off the couch. They build all the forts. They take all the blankets to the living room every day. And it's Fortnite.
And that's what...
And I love it for them.
And that's not any different than what I do at my house. Or what you might do with whatever your special interest is. Right? Yeah. That's another thing we have to remember. Not just about kids with autism, autistic kids, adults, people. Yeah. We are all people first. Mm-hmm. We have preferences, we have agency, we have interests. And in dealing with people and with children, with your kids at home, even the ones you homeschool, they have to have voice, they have to have choice, and relationship is paramount. So, nurture that. Give them voice and choice and build a relationship and see what happens.
Yeah.
And
I'm always like, can you guys just not let these kids be kids? Like, here soon they're going to grow up and they're going to get thrown out here to this dog-eat-dog world. But just let them be kids right now. Let them enjoy all the things that you didn't get to enjoy.
But like we said, you don't know what you don't know. Yeah. So sometimes, like, these conversations are really essential because you need a moment to stop and say, what was my childhood like? How was I allowed to be a child? In what ways was I not? I don't have children, but in working with children, I have to pause frequently and say, this is a very developmentally appropriate thing. This is childhood. Oh, this is fun. This is good. They're interested. We should let this ride. So as parents, we have to you have to do that kind of work also, like to challenge your view of parenting and to sharpen it to better meet the needs of your kiddos. Kids, parents differentiate just like teachers do.
Yes.
Except all day, every day. It's exhausting, I'm sure.
Better you than me, girl.
Bless you.
All right, my dear. I'm so excited that we met.
Me too.
I'm so happy that you came on here and shared your story because I know it's going to help another woman.
My pleasure.
And, those tips that you gave for those kids, girl, I love it.
If you all need me, please let me know. What I do for JCPS is I'm a special education implementation coach. So essentially, I manage compliance for IDEA. That's not really what I do. What I do is I build relationships with parents and teachers and get to know their kids so that we can offer them whatever services or supports they need, whether that's a friend in the hallway or an accommodation on a test. I want all kids to get what they need, and we can't do that without the partnership of families.
Yes.
So if ever anyone sees this and that you have questions about the work that I do or the services your kids get, if you have anxiety about trusting the school system to meet your baby's needs, reach out to me. I totally understand. I have a little bit of perspective, and I hope to ease the transition of getting support and not having it. And there are ways that can be done. So please use me up.
Tell them where to find you.
You can find me on Facebook, Brandy Shumake. You can find me on Instagram at Love Brandy Lou, on TikTok at Love Brandy Lou also, or you can email me at brandy@rivercitydrumcorps.ky.org. So come find me. Let me know what I can do to help.
Thank you again.
It is my pleasure. This has been divine.
Yes. All right, guys, go check out those advertisements at the end, and I will see you next week. Bye.
It's your time to grow. Get started with Little Pot Design Studio today.